Welcome to this week's Dose of Emuna for Shabbat Kodesh. We're going back to Gan Eden. Amazing if we just take a delve into the concept of what it means to live in Gan Eden. Rav Dessler brings down, Zatzal, that Adam and Chava were created by Hashem. They had no parents. Their parents were Hashem. And they were created to be so perfect and so holy that even the angels mistook them and thought that they were God himself. What was so special in Gan Eden? Well, in Gan Eden, Adam and Chava had very little free will. In fact, they were literally created so perfect that they didn't have any draw to do anything that was evil. And the reason being was that good and evil were very clearly identifiable to them. When they looked at something, they saw it as it being good or the other thing as being evil. And when you see something as evil, you're not going to engage or be part of that evilness. Naturally, in our right minds, we wouldn't think about purposely putting ourselves in a place that's not good for us. But what happened? Specifically, because they had very limited free will, specifically because of the fact that they knew Hashem in such an amazing, tangible manner, they knew that there really wasn't much of a choice. And creating the concept of free will for them was something that was actually good. They wanted to actually live in that space of being able to make a genuine decision to follow Hashem's will. Before the sin, there wasn't really a genuine choice. Free will really was non-existent to a major degree. It was very simple. It didn't take a lot of effort for them to do Hashem's will. And so they rationalized that they could serve Hashem better if they were real choices in front of them. Because, as we know, lefum sara agra, right? The reward is based on the difficulty of the challenge. And so if they were challenged more, then they would receive greater reward, and they would be able to have that much more of a sense of closeness to Hashem through that ability of making a choice. So essentially, they ate from the tree in order to give them that challenge, but essentially the price for that was being cast away and sent away from Gan Eden. So if you look at Gan Eden, we can really say in very clear, defining manner that Gan Eden was a God-centered world. It was a world where Hashem was in the center, and we knew that, and all the choices that were made were based on that experience, on that mindset. Whereas now, because of the sin, now we live in a man-centered world where we think that we're at the center and God is, so to speak, God forbid, but sort of on the sidelines. Shabbat Kodesh comes and we're going back to Gan Eden. Essentially, by lighting the candles, we are essentially putting in our minds, we're changing our state of consciousness where we are one, once again, with Hashem, and we recognize the fact that it is Hashem who's at the center of it all. The focus is once again creating a God-centered world. How do we do that? Because we declare on Shabbat, Hashem is Mekadesh Shabbat. Hashem is the one who's telling us to make this day holy. And we, by lighting the candles and by keeping Shabbat, remembering Shabbat, keeping Shabbat, honoring and respecting Shabbat, we are communicating through those acts that Hashem is the one who's in charge. Hashem commanded us, we go ahead and do it. We earn our spirituality by bringing in Shabbos, by adhering to the halachas that Chazal brought down to us in terms of keeping and honoring Shabbat. And we go back to that place where Shabbat becomes that place of Gan Eden once again. Hashem does everything. We do what we're told, but Hashem, this is a God-centered world. We're going to make it a God-centered world by keeping Shabbat and keeping the laws that pertain to Shabbat and bringing it back to Gan Eden. Let's make it a great Shabbat Kodesh.